Welcome back to the baddest show in the universe, and that is the Backport Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
Great.
And there you go. Yes, sir. We've got our biggest supporter, Jay's back, man. So before we get into everything, like I said at the top, welcome and thank y'all for listening and tuning in and subscribing and all that good stuff. I ain't gonna get into all that because I say it every week. And another thing I say every week, y'all go ahead to the war room. You know, we always chopping it up in there, especially on Sundays. Sundays be funny to me. So let's go ahead and jump on this topic. So the 2004 quarterback class is possibly, arguably up there with the 1983 football class when you have the class with Dan Marino, John Elway, and all that good stuff. So we have a few names of note, especially in the quarterback position that came out of that draft. Of course, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. And we had two more. They're a little, I ain't gonna say lesser known, but Matt Schaub and JP Lossman. So we're going to do something different. We're going to rank that class, and then we're going to go back and kind of like piggyback on what we was talking about last week with the whole Matt Ryan debacle. So, fellas, I'm gonna just do the first three. Rank the first three quarterbacks from that class. Any one of y'all can take the first crack at it. The floor is y'all.
See? All right. Okay. So, I'm gonna start from bottom to top.
All right.
So, my third out of those three, I'm gonna have to go with Phillip Rivers. Number three. He's number three because, to me, he's a fantasy quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He has what? 40, like, he got like, I did some homework for him now. 30 plus game winning drives. Mm-hmm. And you know, as a top tier quarterback, he has the numbers. The only thing is he don't play in December, in January. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. His record in a postseason, I think he only got 4 wins. Mm-hmm. 4 wins.
Tough.
That's not enough for me. I don't even think he sniffed the AFC championship game.
I think he went once. I think it was against the Patriots. Something like that. I don't know.
Probably so. But man, so yeah, I got Phil 3. Now this one was kind of tough for me. Eli and Ben. You know, people will automatically say, yeah, Ben, he's better than Eli. Okay, but you gotta really dig deep. You gotta dig deep. You know, and I did my homework.
Mm-hmm. Ben, throw that out there.
You gotta do your homework up here. You gotta do your homework here.
Ben, majority through his whole entire career with the Steelers, mm-hmm. he always had they was always top 10 on defense. So that was something he could back on. And there were some times where they was number 1 in the league. Mm-hmm. 2, they always had weapons. It's like Steelers just got something for finding receivers. Good running back, good receivers, solid tight end, and they also had some Pro Bowlers along the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go around to Eli's case, he doesn't have the numbers that Ben has. But you look at the team. Eli, his team was only probably ranked number 1 defense like 5 times out of his career, and he played 16 plus years. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm weighing it. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Eli, and here's why. I'm gonna go with Eli. Because Ben, he been in the Super Bowl 3 times. He's 2 for 3. That's the only knock. And plus, he also have led the league in some things in some categories. Eli never did.
He led the league in interceptions. He did do that.
so I gotta give the man credit there, but it wasn't just an easy Ben got it. You know what I mean?
It ain't easy, bro.
Because if you give Eli one of the best receivers in the NFL, he could do damage. It was on glimpses where he had Victor Cruz, Odell, even Plaxico Birds, but their spark was only last 2-3 years. So
that's facts.
and Eli, he's 8 for 4 in the playoffs. Yeah, he's 8 for 4. And another thing, what Ben got over Eli, Ben, he's 13 of 10, I believe.
Yeah. And I think the majority of Ben's playoff losses came in the latter years. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the height of the Killer Bees. Like that 13-3 season, I will never see in my life again from Pittsburgh. I'm just be real. Especially with that caliber of offensive talent. And to just come up short, that was tough. That
was the thing for me. They got so much talent and they just came up short. So I'm like, man, I really dug deep. I'm like, Eli never really had that type of offense, a good offense, when everything was just simply handed, everything at your disposal. He'll have good receivers, but the offensive line bad. Good O-line, but what? Running backs, injuries, you name it. One defense are good, the offense is bad.
I mean, it was always give and take with Eli, though, man.
But the thing about Eli, he's resilient, man. He'll stand there, stand strong. He's a class act, and he's elite.
Yeah, I mean, you can't spell elite without Eli. I'm just saying.
Amen.
All right, Quan, what you got there?
So, like I said, Phil, Eli, Ben.
From 3 to 1. That's solid, though. That's solid.
I can't even disagree to that. I can only concur to that whole entire list. But I was gonna ask, are we talking about achievements, or are we actually talking about the statistics of the quarterback? Because if we talking about, if we actually talking about the statistics, the only one that really falls behind by a short measure is Eli. And I really think Eli was probably, when they had Brandon Jacobs and Amar Bradshaw, he had a short running back life, but doggone, I feel like they probably ran the ball more often. That's the reason why he's a little behind, per se, because you look at doggone Ben and Phillip pocket passage. They just throw the ball most of the game anyway. I mean, that's pretty much what they're known for. Not saying Eli can't throw the ball, but I'm just saying the offensive schemes are so different. Of course, in Pittsburgh, they wanted to kind of distract you with a Jerome Bennis or even a Le'Veon Bell or whatever. But majority of their work came from throwing that rock. Now Phillip Rivers, I put him number 3 just because, like my boy James said, man, he was a fantasy quarterback. He had splurges where he'll complete 25. Well, what was that time he completed?
I think it was 25 or 27 completions in a row.
Back to back, in a row.
Something like that.
You had that, and then you had a Phil that couldn't complete a pass, or when it got cold outside, he would just drop. But my three, and I'm gonna start from number 1 to 3. I guess we all have our own schematics of how to measure this. I would pick Ben number 1, but since Ben when he came in the league, I feel like he was the fortunate guy out of the other 2 guys. He came into a great franchise who was already known for winning Super Bowls already. Both Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin are 2 solid coaches. Not to mention, like at least one of the 2 Super Bowls that he won wasn't even the Mike Tomlin's team. That was the Bill Cowher team. I mean, Mike Tomlin pretty much just picked up. So I feel like Ben was the fortunate one. I'm gonna say out of the 3, I think probably can contest for number 1. Just because if you look at Eli, he was the Iron Man. He never got hurt in his career. Never. Before he would take a sack, he would just fall. I feel like if he had the system that Ben would have had, he would have had more than 2 rings. And I feel like because Ben was so fortunate coming in the league, Ben should have more than 2 rings. Should he not? They never had a losing. They never had a losing season in almost 17, 15 plus years now.
But
right?
Remember what we said last week, that back in those days, the AFC had Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. So in order to come out of the AFC, you have to face one of those 2, if not a combination of both. With Ben Roethlisberger, he could not, and I ain't gonna blame it on Ben Roethlisberger. I'm organizational wise. They could not get past the Patriots at all. It's very rare for the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think one of the years that they actually did go to the Super Bowl, Tom Brady was hurt that year.
And that was 2008 when he was out for the season.
So, I mean, and that's not to discredit, and that's not to even discredit, because I'm still a fan, so.
To your heart.
You know, I mean, to the bone. But, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I'm going to say Eli, Ben, and then Phil. That's my 3. Eli, I like Eli simply because he didn't get hurt. Ben got hurt so many doggone times. I mean, he's had almost every injury that you could possibly imagine as being a quarterback. Yes, he was a backyard quarterback. I mean, he's just a big guy. Eli, even though he won one of those Super Bowls off some cheese, but we're not gonna talk about that, because that helmet catch was luck. That helmet catch was luck. But
that's great. But it's great.
But he did beat Tom Brady twice.
Rodney Harrison did not play the ball on that play.
I was just saying, you know, I was just saying. But outside of that, I give him credit for going and beating New England twice in the Super Bowl. So that's why I got him number 1. I got Ben number 2 because I feel like we talked about this last week about quarterbacks being a disappointment. Ben isn't a disappointment. Don't get me wrong. He's not a disappointment.
Oh, not by a long
shot.
But
with the players that he had for such a long period of time, I feel like he could have had more than 2 rings. Honestly, I mean 2 rings. I mean 2 rings is good. A lot of quarterbacks don't even have 1 ring, but it was just, man. Listen, he had. I don't even have to name the weapons that he had. Everybody know that already. So for that call, you're right. Exactly. Right. So with that. I feel like he should be number 2. That's why when I you know seen the outline or whatever. If we talking rings, Ben is number 1, honestly, because of the cheese that Eli got in the Super Bowl. I feel like he legitimately beat Brady once. He beat him twice, but number 1 is Ben.
The dude had his own legacy in his own hands in 07. Yeah. But he drove down the field. He drove down the field, and what did he do? He scored. Touchdown.
Because nobody talks about the play after the Tyree catch.
Exactly.
Plexico Burrs got hit for 7. So whether in the reality of it, yes, it was a lucky catch, but at the same time, the play after is the one that really sealed that game, because New England still had a chance to stop it. Now, I think that play was on the 4th down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli had to go out. Eli had to go out and get it and win it 2 times. 2 times. So people be like, they try to discredit Eli, talking about the defense got them there, this and that. No. Eli went down the field and he scored. He won it for his team. That's why he's Super Bowl MVP 2 times.
And that's another thing. That's another point. Yeah. I mean, Ben ain't never won a Super Bowl MVP.
You know, and look at the teams that he faced. He faced in the playoffs. Green Bay, Tampa 1 year, 49ers I think 2 times, or it was Green Bay 2 times.
Mm-hmm. Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta.
So the real argument is, I believe we can all three say that Phillip Rivers become third in this class.
Phillip Rivers is the greatest. He's the second greatest quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. Of course, the first is Dan Marino. The first is Dan Marino. Like, people are still trying to break. I mean, I think Drew Brees broke a couple of his records, but I think Dan Marino still got some records floating around there.
Drew Brees got 1, right?
Drew Brees got 1.
Yep.
Yep.
Times, right?
What happened?
He's been there 2 times, right?
Drew. No, he's only been there once.
Once. I feel like they lost to the Patriots. Didn't they lose to the Patriots?
No.
Or
No, what happened, they got to the championship game and that fluky thing with the Rams. That's how the Rams went.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I feel like Eli should be number 1 just because the simple fact of what he had. He matched Ben with 2 rings with less. You know what I'm saying?
You took the words out of my mouth.
He didn't have an AB. He didn't have a Mike Wallace, Antonio Holmes, a Bus, a Le'Veon Bell. None of those. He didn't have a Troy. He didn't have none of that. Yes, I like Prince Amukamara and all the rest of them. Giants defense back in 08, 09 was something serious. But I feel like for the simple fact that Eli has matched Ben with less talent, he deserves to be ahead of Ben, because Patrick Mahomes has been 2 Super Bowls?
Yep.
2 Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was only with a Tyreek Hill and a Travis Kelce. Not even a good defense, because they was really just blowing everybody else out the water, because, I mean, their defense would get maybe like a 3 and out here and there, and then the Chiefs would go down there and score and nobody could catch up with it. That's pretty much how it happened. If you give Patrick Mahomes what Ben had from like, you can even go from 2014 to maybe like 2018. More rings than Ben.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so I feel like because of that, Eli is number 1.
My question: what do y'all feel about? Okay, we already know, we can all agree Tom Brady's number 1, right?
As of now, yeah.
All right.
No, excuse me. As of that 6th Super Bowl win, he is number 1.
Right. So, okay, Peyton Manning. Since we talking about quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers.
Good night.
How can we rank those guys?
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
You know,
are we doing statistics?
Like gunslinger.
Are we going by purely statistics or accomplishments? That is a good question.
We putting everything to the table.
Everything. All right, everything on the table. I'm gonna go Peyton Manning number 1 because he was, like they say in WWE, the cerebral assassin. This dude would take up the entire pre-snap, just calling out audibles and making stuff work. Number 2, I'm gonna say Drew Brees, for the simple fact Drew Brees is a gunslinger. He was one of the shortest quarterbacks to be a gunslinger.
He's talented to be like 5'10".
Right. And then third is Aaron Rodgers. The playoffs have not been too kind to Aaron Rodgers.
He can't beat them Niners.
The 49ers ain't been too kind to Aaron Rodgers. So that's just, just by going off things I remember when those guys were in the league at the same time. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, and I concur the Fonz list as well, because I mean, what other quarterback has the nickname of a sheriff in football? I mean, there's no way you can even deny that. The way he dissected the defense was just unbelievable.
Yeah. And do we not remember his Peyton Manning's 2013 season? He reset the bar. He broke Tom Brady's 07 record. Right. Touchdown passes. So, I mean, we probably won't even ever see that broken. Like that.
I like it. Yeah, the way he dissected defense was special. And Drew Brees did the same thing. I mean, but he didn't go the extra mile that Peyton Manning would do offensively. Honestly. Now, I have seen Drew Brees hit a balloon from like 500 feet away, a falling balloon accurately. I haven't seen Peyton Manning do that. Not saying that he couldn't, but I mean, they are is a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I really feel like the reason why Drew Brees wasn't as successful as he could have been is because of the team. The Saints, they have splurts. They come alive every once in a while. I mean, and when they do, they're a scary team because, I mean, nobody wanted to play in the dome against Drew Brees. Nobody wanted to see that.
Ask Atlanta what happened.
So, I mean, I like all three quarterbacks, but I'm going to definitely concur to Fonz with Peyton Manning, Drew, and Aaron Rodgers, simply because, I mean, outside of Aaron Rodgers, having a good touchdown interception ratio and, I mean, doing all the correct things in the regular season, he has yet to prove that without a super team that he had back in, when he got to 2012? No, 2010?
2010. After the 2009 season, basically.
Yeah. Without all them Hall of Fame players on his team, he can't make it.
Now, what only Hall of Fame he had on his team was Woodson.
He had Clay he had Clay Matthews, and he had
nah, bro. Hall of very good, not Hall of Fame. No, he did not. He didn't change the game.
Nah,
Clay Matthews not a Hall of Famer.
Okay, let's talk about another linebacker that was in his division. Brian Urlacher, Clay Matthews. Go on, man.
I feel like those are two different linebackers, but
let's take that back then. Can I rephrase it?
Go ahead.
Maybe not Hall of Famers. You can't. Now he wasn't a Pro Bowl linebacker. Now he was.
I don't use Pro Bowl as a measure simply because it's a popularity contest.
Okay.
Right.
I feel like if you have all pros, then you can say something.
But Aaron Rodgers had a solid team when he went to Super Bowl in 2010.
Oh, the defense was crazy.
He did.
That's what
that defense was crazy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, he put up solid numbers himself. But lately, Aaron Rodgers ain't been Aaron Rodgers, man. Like, it's you strip away all of that from Aaron Rodgers, and this is what you have. And even when he had it, the 49ers come to town, or he go to the 49ers, it ain't like that. And I'm not saying recent history. Let's go back 10 years when Kaepernick was still on the 49ers. Green Bay couldn't do it. Let's go back a couple of years after that when he went, I think it was the NFC Championship game versus the Seahawks.
Yeah, they did have. Okay, wait. So Greg Jennings is not a Hall of Fame receiver?
Heck no.
No.
Okay, here we go. Let's compare.
What about Donald Driver?
Okay, Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Randy Moss.
No. Look,
Randy Moss. Randy Moss is like Superman.
The people that you naming, you gotta think like this. You said Clay Matthews.
Put him in another system.
He's not making it. Donald Driver, I heard some things about. I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but those guys, they're not going to be first ballot Hall of Fames when they clash.
Well, no, I don't think they'll be first ballot Hall of Fame.
It's how to get there. You know what I mean?
Donald Driver, 743 career receptions, 10,137 yards, 61 touchdowns. That's not Hall of Fame. That ain't Hall of Fame status. Now let's compare recent. T.O. I'll give you T.O. before I give you Donald Driver.
Hold on. Is Torrey Porch, whatever his name is, from the Rams or Isaac Bruce?
I think Isaac Bruce is not in yet. Was it the other way around? Thank you.
Just show you.
Now, granted, they played on arguably I can say it now, the second greatest offense of all time, which is the greatest show on turf. And they had some studs. You had Isaac Bruce. You had Marshall Faulk coming out the backfield, Hall of Famer. Kurt Warner, the quarterback, Hall of Famer. And you had Torrey Holt. And I forget this is his last name. Because his last name is, I ain't gonna say it's funny because that might be culturally inappropriate. But you had that guy out there. I don't want to say his name. I'm gonna mess it up. But 3 out of maybe 7 of those players on that offense is Hall of Famers. How many Hall of Famers on the 2010 or 2009 Green Bay Packers outside of Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know.
I can't call it.
But y'all think Aaron Rodgers is a walking Hall of Famer or no?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. First ballot, because that's the trend.
Right?
2 times. No,
3 times.
Back to back. But he won last year, the year before, and he won one of I forget what year.
Yeah, I think he had 3 times MVP.
Just by his stats alone is going to get him in the Hall of Fame. Right. Like the MVPs ain't even going to matter. His statistics is going to get him in. Who other quarterback in the history got that same touchdown interception ratio?
Yeah. The thing with Aaron Rodgers, he just disappoint me in the postseason, man. Every time, he just disappoint. You know, like his league, he did get that Super Bowl when he had a chance against your Steelers.
Yes, sir.
You said that was Ben last time. Shoot, that was
Aaron's last time. He sniffed it, but it's like you beat up with a girl, you sniff it, but you just ain't enter in. Cause
so I got a question.
All right.
Starting your franchise today, and we just talked about the 2004 draft class. So let's say we in 2004, and you about to draft your first. You need a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Who you going to draft out of that class first?
Good God. Honestly though, it's gonna pain me to say this, John. But see, with Ben, you had to have a good running game and good defense. But see, with Phillip was good. He just the organization. Look, it was the Chargers. Everybody knows the dysfunction of the Chargers. So if I was to start a franchise, I would draft Phillip.
I agree. we that's funny because we all put him third, but he just had it all. It took Eli time.
Yeah.
It took Eli time.
Yeah.
But Phil, he had it.
He had it. And think about this. Think about early Phillip Rivers, maybe 2006 Phillip Rivers, when LT was just going off. I think LT had like 36 rushing touchdowns that year. Give me a good stud running back, a good defense, and Phillip Rivers, and 1, maybe 2 good receivers. I'm getting at least 2. Within 5 years, I'm getting at least 2.
Right.
I would have been like backing up, because he big body. I probably convert him to a tight end or something,
Yeah, I would say out of those three, I'll probably go Phillip too, honestly, because I mean, like you said, he just didn't have the right franchise to really do the damage that he could do. I mean, because Antonio Gates and I mean, it was something serious.
Vincent Jackson, I was going to say that.
Right.
Vincent Jackson, R.I.P. Vincent Jackson. Like, he had the weapons, but that organization was just ridiculous. Like, you had a coach, Marty Schottenheimer, I think that's what he was. They went 14-2 in 2006. Then you fire him. And then almost over a decade later, you move the team. Phillip Rivers is my starting quarterback.
Do you think Ben? Do y'all think Ben would have won 2 Super Bowls outside of Pittsburgh?
I think he would have won 2 with the Giants. Honestly.
Well, he was out of Cleveland, and Cleveland didn't take him, which he said on a recent podcast. I don't know whether y'all know. Anyway,
all right,
he got his own podcast now. But
I'm gonna point you to something. It's this series on YouTube called NFL, and they talk about that draft. Ben would have went to the Giants. Eli would have went to the Steelers, and Phillip would have went to the Colts or something like that. Something crazy junk. And Phillip and Ben would have probably seen each other in the Super Bowl. That's the whole synopsis of that whole video series. I think if Ben would have went somewhere like New York, because around that time they were building that defense. New York had a decent running game with Tiki Barber. If he would have went there,
well, he probably
Ben would have won too.
Hold on.
That probably wouldn't have been. That probably, and this doesn't have anything to do with football, but he probably wouldn't have even New York after the motorcycle accident and all the.
True, because that New York media is something serious.
Glad you said that, Marquand. There was times that he missed a whole year of football and just stuff that's non-football related. He would have got a bad reaction from the crowd. It would have been different regimes coming in, and then
But the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the constant though.
He was fortunate.
Okay, so he got Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher was that hard-nosed coach, right?
We ain't even talking about Art Rooney yet.
And then later on, he got Mike Tomlin. Everybody knows while Tomlin is hard-nosed, he is deep down inside a player's coach because he let certain people get away with certain stuff. Roethlisberger would have had Tom Coughlin. It wouldn't have been that allegation he had in that bathroom, and it probably wouldn't have been that motorcycle accident because Tom Coughlin, after possibly moving up to get him, it wouldn't have been none of that. Michael Strahan to this day did not like Tom Coughlin because of his hard-nosed attitude, but that hard-nosed attitude got you rings.
Right.
So that off the field stuff, honestly, he's in New York. That's the city that never sleeps. I went to Jersey last year, and I was in Teaneck, and you could see Manhattan. It don't never go dark. But with Roethlisberger, I don't really think he would have had them problems. And then look on the defense. Look who's on the defense. Michael Strahan. Strahan gonna get in his face and be like, "Yo, bruh, chill." With him in that gap, they gonna get it. Like the only person, honestly, I would have to have worried about for Ben Roethlisberger on that team was Tiki Barber because all right, James, you was a Giants fan, so you know what Tiki Barber did. that was below the belt. But I don't really think he would have had no issues.
He's still something on the team. Is crazy. But the only thing if it was a switch with Eli and Ben, when I'm concerned with Ben is the offensive line. Same thing with Eli dealt with.
Yeah.
Well, see,
But Eli would have had the better defense, though.
After Tiki left, the running game wasn't always there. It wasn't always there. I know we had Bradshaw and we had Brandon Jacobs, but it wasn't 1,000. I don't think we ever had 1,000-yard rusher after Tiki left, because Bradshaw and Jacobs, they was a 1-2 punch, And then even after they left, it was quiet for like 4 years. That's why we drafted Saquon.
Right.
And
but you know what though?
Saquon was the first running back to hit over 1,000 yards since Tiki.
It would have been Tony. It would have been 2 Tony Romos. Then would have went to New York because the offensive line. The offensive line was a problem.
Hold up.
Because Tony Romo couldn't stay off his back.
The NFC East at that time, outside of Philadelphia, who was going to the championship game every year, the NFC East was called the NFC least for a reason. Because honestly, I don't see Ben Roethlisberger going 8-8 every year. Not with that team.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying with the issues of Tony Romo really not playing as long, Ben would have had that type of problem. Eli would have been very much successful. For one, he didn't never get hurt. The longevity, Hall of Fame players that Pittsburgh has had, man, Eli would have went crazy.
See, the only knock on Eli that I have is only one: that he could never beat his brother.
No, you can't beat Peyton Manning.
You could never beat him.
Good God.
2013, I badly wanted the New York Football Giants
to beat the Broncos.
To meet the Broncos in the Super Bowl, but then we got that snoozer.
They ain't happening. I don't. No,
I wanted to see it, but every time they would meet up head to head, he could never beat them. But he held 2 rings for a minute.
Yeah, if Eli would have went to the Steelers and played and had to play his brother, I don't even think he could have had beaten. Peyton Manning is just Peyton Manning. I don't even think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can give him any defense. Any type of defense. You get any type of defense. Because that's what you need.
You got to get up early in the morning to beat Peyton Manning.
Very early. Very, very, very early.
And man, it just got Eli number, man. He big brother.
He big brother.
Yeah, he had to play that role. Good guy. Peyton Manning was a different breed of quarterback. I'm sorry.
Legendary.
I like Eli, but man, and it's crazy. When you look at the two, it's just crazy. Like the two different play styles of the two. You would think they would play somewhat of a similar game. I believe Eli is maybe like 3 years younger than his brother, possibly.
See, his brother came out in '98 and he came out in 2004.
Yeah, a little bit older.
Yeah.
Well, he about what?
About 5 or 6 years older than him.
2 years. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah.
He can never get over that hump.
Yeah, you can't touch that.
You can't beat experience. That's how the old folks say.
You can't beat that. But yeah.
All right, so at the top we mentioned another quarterback that came out in 2008, and last week we dubbed him one of the most disappointing quarterbacks of all time, and that is one Matt Ryan. So James, you on the show, share your feelings about Matt Ryan. Floor is yours, my brother.
All right, Matt Ryan, man. I think about Matt Ryan. When I think of Matt Ryan, I think of Phillip Rivers. fantasy quarterback. But the only thing with Matt Ryan, he got there. He didn't win it. He almost did.
He sniffed it. He saw it, man.
He almost did, but
I wonder why.
Not only that, he's an MVP of the league.
True.
You know, led the league in passing yards. He had four Pro Bowl years. 4. Yeah, man. Matt Ryan, he's a disappointment in the postseason. I think he got 5 wins. Either 5 or 4 wins.
And the majority of them was at home.
Yeah, but they was first seed, right? Number 1 seed.
I know going back to the most recent year, 2012. I think they was number 1 in the NFC that year, and I think they was off for wild card weekend. They either
won or none.
They played Green Bay in Atlanta. They beat them, and they went to the championship game and lost to the 49ers. Going back to the last season, he was in the Super Bowl. Yes, I think they were the number 1 seed. Got all the way to the chip. Was on a blowout status. But I can't blame that on Matt Ryan.
It's their defense. The defense.
I couldn't blame it on Matt Ryan. But they took the gas up. They took the foot off the pedal.
Fine. Played a heck of a first half.
Exactly.
28-3. I mean, you want the defense to play good, but after you gain a 25-point lead at halftime, your defense did give up 5 points. They don't supposed to win.
Because if I remember, I think Matt had the ball last before it went to overtime. And they got stopped on the 4th down. That's what happened. They was the 4th down. They had to kick it away.
2 Super Bowls that I just really
that one and that Seahawks one, boy, I couldn't stand
those 2 Super Bowls right there. The most Super Bowls I ever seen in my entire life. And matter of fact, James, I watched the Seahawks, the Super Bowl at your house. And listen.
I was
so
home.
Disappointed.
I was home, and I put on Facebook that the Seahawks was going to win by 10. Russell Wilson was going to be the MVP.
I believe that's the year that I really started disliking Tom Brady.
No, you was hating Tom Brady for a long time. I hear it in your voice.
No, man. I think that's what started it, though. Because on the sideline, he was sitting on the sideline. That drive, facial expression had the losing face on it.
Facts.
Like, he was already getting ready to go to the middle of the field and shake hands with the coach. But
check this out. Check this out.
That cheese happened.
That was it. But you got to think about it. It was improbable, though. Think about it. It was improbable because everybody talks about you should have gave it to Marshawn, right? Who completes a pass of that caliber when your receiver is on the ground, the ball never touched the ground, and he still catch it? How is that possible?
One thing I know is they was at the half-yard line. That means Marshawn Lynch would have put his big toe over the goal. I just and then with the Falcons, the defense went to sleep. They give you a 25-point. I mean, okay, you put it like this. Right?
His grandkids gonna hear about that Super Bowl. I swear to you.
Let's talk about basketball, right? Now, Curry, one final, Matthew Dellavedova held Curry to 3 points in the half, right? Even though he ended up coming back and scoring 27. Similar situation to with the Patriots. But in football, though, with it being so possessional, I feel like that was on Matt Ryan. I don't feel like that was on Matt Ryan for the simple fact, the play caller. Oh, you got a 25-point lead. And I think, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch. One day I'm gonna go back and watch that Super Bowl because it was probably a lack of converting on third down. So that's a possession down. You got to convert on third. If you see one, you got to convert on one. But I mean, people blame it on the defense. I can't blame it on the defense either. I really think all around it was just a fail.
Honestly.
But here's the thing, and I ain't gonna cut y'all off. Here's the thing. Matt Ryan won the MVP that particular year, and the Offensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah, then he had all that hype around his name too. Yeah.
Now, the defensive line.
How can you beat the Patriots?
Their defense wet the bed, man. You got to think about it. Okay, you got an MVP quarterback at the same time. This is the Super Bowl. This is where the stakes are at. This is, honestly, any given Sunday, if you look up any given Sunday in the dictionary, the Super Bowl should come as a definition. Should Atlanta have given up that 28 to 3-point lead? They shouldn't have. But when your defense goes to sleep, the defense played like the 2000 Ravens in that first half. And they ain't give up nothing. And then New England was like, never say die.
But you know what, Fonz? You know what? The Falcons let they foot off the gas. But also you gotta give credit to Bill Belichick. I don't know who was their defensive coordinator.
I think that was Matt Patricia at that time.
Right?
Yeah,
you gotta give credit to them too, because halftime they drawing up on the board, figuring them out.
That's why Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick.
Devontae Freeman out the gate, his first run was like 20 plus yards or 15. Devontae Freeman was cooking, and they had what's that dude named Tevin Coleman?
Yep.
They backed up running back. They were fine. Kyle Shanahan, he likes to 1-2 punch with their running backs. Mm-hmm. We gotta give credit to Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia.
A hot dog
for those Super Bowl wins. Not just Atlanta, but Seahawks too.
Facts. And see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me give you a little background. So Vic Beasley, even though I don't really count the Pro Bowl, but he was the only Pro Bowler on that defense. So that tells me they had 0 All-Pro players on that defense. They actually picked up an agent. They had an agent, Dwight Freeney. Now this was 2017. Dwight Freeney was that dude back in the early 2010s. Much hurt, as the years went on, he was hurt. So, and they was 27th in the league in points allowed. They allowed 406 points in the regular season. Should I say it was inevitable? Probably so. Even though, it's like they shot all their bullets in the first half. But then come second half, when New England start reloading, they ain't got no more bullets. Especially them bullets in.
They act like they won the Super Bowl already.
Exactly. But think about it. But consider this though. Consider this right here. And this is a what if situation. What if Jacksonville didn't take their foot off the gas? Because they was beating the snot out of New England in the AFC Championship game. And what happened? They collapsed in the second half.
I heard it. I watched it on like a broadcast. Because I was on my way to New York. But anyway, yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I just knew the Jaguars was about to take down Tom Brady. I couldn't wait. Who it was the Rams, right? The Rams was in because Jaguars AFC. So it'd have been Jaguars versus Rams.
That would have been something. Saxonville. Let me tell you something about Jacksonville. Y'all probably ain't remember this, but back in the early days of Jacksonville, they was actually pretty good to be an expansion team. Because back when the AFC North was known as the AFC Central, they had Tennessee, Jacksonville, pretty much some teams that's in the AFC South now. Jacksonville was that team outside of Tennessee. Jacksonville was it. Especially with, I forget the name of their quarterback, but then they had Keenan McCardell on one side and Jimmy Smith on the other side, which I feel like should be in the Hall of Fame. But that's just me. But Jacksonville has a history of just having those spurts. And that particular year, they went to Pittsburgh. I was like, yo, same thing. I was listening to the game. I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way, but that's what happened. I think that was that 13-3 season. I just knew Pittsburgh was going to the Super Bowl.
Was it the 13-3 season?
That because y'all had that was a home playoff game, but y'all didn't get the first seed though. Somebody else got that first seed.
Patriots.
I think it was them. And
that was in 2017 when they cheated us on that doggone Jesse James touchdown.
Still hurt about that one. And then they ruled like 3 years later, oh, it was a catch. Like, y'all, that's messed up.
No, the next year they changed it to
You're right.
It was.
Because they had to go back and get that Dez Bryant
I'm so glad
catch.
they suffering now. Woo, I'm so glad they suffering now. I ain't heard of people out of Patriots. Where New England at?
For all them New England fans that was around here, look, I don't even see New England flags waving no more. That's why they put it up.
You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Yeah.
We're talking about New England fans.
With Tom Brady left half of them with the Tampa with him.
I'm trying to tell you,
man.
And Tampa just got their stuff together.
Tampa boy, they better stack a few. That's all I'm saying. It might be the end.
You know what?
Isn't Tom a free agent after this year?
Has it been 3 years already?
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Super Bowl year?
Yeah. Because he went down there in 2020.
They gonna sign him back. Don't worry about it.
I don't think he's coming back. I think
y'all gonna fall for it again, huh? Y'all gonna fall for it again?
Buccaneers will
He's gonna take another 60-day vacation, then he gonna come back. What does he have to play for now? Don't have a family to go home to now.
Oh, he didn't, bro.
Ain't not home no more.
Buccaneers will be doing a disservice to themselves if they don't plan for the future.
Yes. If they bring Tom Brady back for another year, the Buccaneers are the NFC version of the Cleveland Browns, the Factory of Sadness. Because you got to plan for the future now. You got your Super Bowl in this decade. Plan for the future.
The Buccaneers ain't had a quarterback of this caliber. They ain't letting that man go, and he is determined to continue to play.
Man,
so we gonna dookie on Jameis Winston, huh?
Tom Brady is done. He's done.
He's not.
So
he's the Terminator. He's the football Terminator.
He ain't coming back, man.
He ain't coming back.
Everybody said that. Look, everybody said that.
No, it's evident this year. Have you seen him lately?
Marquand, you want him on your Steelers?
Nah. We can use him for a quarterback coach. That'd be nice.
Oh,
I ain't call him up. I ain't got the phone to call him.
Y'all need some help around there, boy. I swear, I thought I'd never see the Steelers looking the way they do.
But you know what? It's not even.
Yeah, that's another topic.
TJ Watt, he back. TJ Watt.
Yeah, we won the first week he was back.
I see y'all got another pass rush coming up. Highsmith. Well, he like that.
Yeah, he's smiling, boy. Ear to ear, boy. Well, look at him. He ain't saying nothing. He started cheesing like he just got a fresh glass of Kool-Aid out there.
But you know what? This ain't even the first year that Alex Highsmith has been out, though. Y'all all late. He was a sack leader 2 weeks before TJ Watt got back.
Yeah, I mean, y'all defense
but
never.
It's not even. It has nothing to do with Kenny. It has everything to do with Matt Canada. Everything to do with Matt Canada.
I think it's organizational.
That little trick pony, that little college stuff, it don't work. You playing with grown men out there. You send motion. I mean, people do use motion, but y'all got to sit down and watch a full Steelers game. Gotta sit back and actually see. For one, we can't even run the ball well. We got for the last maybe 2 weeks. We've been okay running.
I mean, y'all just broke 200 some yards last week now.
But
running the ball.
Outside of that, though, we haven't. Our offensive line is young. We got rookies on our offensive line. So we got a rookie quarterback. We got a new offensive coordinator, 2-year offensive coordinator. We're still 3-6, which I don't feel like is horrible. It's still a football.
But I told you, James. I told him maybe 4 years ago. It's time for the Steelers to hit the reset button.
I told him the same thing.
They holding on to the past.
I didn't tell somebody. So you ain't telling nobody nothing. They ain't told nobody nothing.
I told nobody the offense is gonna do better. I told him that when Juju, when they signed back Juju instead of Bud Dupree, that's when I told you.
I don't know how we did that. That was awesome. Batman and Superman on the same side. Good guy. Yeah.
So. No. This was back in 2020. Matter of fact, when we first started this show, and I think it's on record in one of them early episodes, I'm like, Pittsburgh need to hit the reset button. And then they go 11-0 in the regular season.
Right.
That following year. Oh boy. You should have beaten his chest, his chest all poked out. And then they just started dropping L's. They just started dropping L's.
I remember that. I also commented, but it was the other way around. I said the defense is aging. But it was
everybody go through a rebuild. Don't worry, Ravens and Giants. Y'all coming? See, Ravens caught theirs early.
I don't want to talk about the Giants.
They went ahead.
We saw the problem. And we was like, nah, let's go.
Got on out of there.
Let's go and fix that.
Got in and out of there. You know what I mean? See, we was gonna ride Big Ben till he popped.
God no.
You know,
to the wheels.
And he didn't even want to go. He didn't even want to go.
He was forced out though.
He was forced out. That's what I'm saying because. Play just as long as we allow it.
Ben was chasing that third ring for about 12 years, man, and it just didn't. It didn't vibe right, man.
That 11-0 start, that was our chance.
That was it, y'all.
That was it.
You had it in your hand, and then I just can't get out my head looking at that. I think it was divisional round. Against Cleveland?
Yeah, I went out
Cleveland.
That night. Man, I went out to eat that night. Where we go? We went.
Did you go to my house that night too?
No. I was in Greenville that night at Cheddar's watching that game. Couldn't eat my doggone food.
Just to see the shot of Marquise Pouncey and Big Ben just sitting on the sideline like that was sad to me because as a Raven fan, I don't never count them out. They could go 0 and whatever for 2 years straight. I still won't count them out because they're the Steelers. I understand as they say, their standard. Right. But I did tell you, I was like, look, they're going to have to let Big Ben go. He got to go because it ain't looking good. Nah, man, we going to be good.
We were good for almost 20 years, bro.
Yeah, y'all. Hey, I mean, y'all got your money's worth from them. I mean, matter of fact, that's exactly what I told you. Like, y'all got your money's worth. Like, let them ride off the sunset. And then they mess around and go 11-0 the following season.
Yeah, that was the height. See, that's what made me thought he still had it.
But here come they were the Commanders at the time. They was the Washington football team. I was like, ain't no way Washington gonna go in there and beat them.
And they beat us, and then somebody else beat us, and then somebody else beat us. They kept beating us and beating us and beating us.
And they beat the Eagles.
Yeah. I ain't even watched the game. I was just looking at notifications. I'm like, whoa. And then I saw the highlights from it. I was like,
what? Can I say this? If you look at the schedule, Eagles ain't playing nobody. They ain't playing nobody. They ain't playing. But you know what? At the same time, and then I say this, they can't make the schedule, they only play it. They have this great job at beating who's in front of them.
You beat who's in front of them.
If you look at who they've been playing, they should have lost to the Texans. That should have been the first loss. So the Texans exposed them. Exposed that they couldn't really stop the run like that because doggone, what's my man named? Damon Pierce, rookie, real running back.
Oh yeah, he ate on him.
Crazy. He went crazy. Doggone had me stressed out because I was enjoying it on the sports book, betting on the Eagles and stuff.
I feel bad because I got their defense. I had their defense in fantasy. I'm like, man, come on, bro.
Oh, I mean, every time you touch the ball was first down.
Right.
And they and Texans didn't hide the fact that they wanted to run the ball against them either.
That's what made it bad. But speaking of the Eagles, check this out. One quick question before we sign off. Do you think the Eagles could possibly make it to the NFC Championship game
this year?
This year,
they're gonna get there. I feel like
I don't think so either.
No,
I think it's gonna be the Vikings in that championship game.
The NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship game. I don't know who's gonna be with them, but I'm for sure the Vikings are gonna make it. And I was right before. I said the Rams was gonna represent the NFC the Super Bowl last year. Go check the receipts. It's out there. Go check it. And they went. The Vikings are gonna make it to the championship game. I like the Vikings, but I like the Eagles.
The thing about the Vikings is that they flying under the radar. They flying under the radar so smooth.
They lost only one game.
Hey, y'all remember?
Talking about them.
What was that game? I think it was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and one mission where you had to fly across the countryside, but you had to fly real low so you wouldn't get shot down by them. That's what the Vikings are doing right now. They just flying real low, and. When they did the Buffalo.
That was a crazy game, by the way.
But one thing
good.
One thing with the Vikings, and the same thing like my Giants,
when
they start getting noise, they don't know
shut down.
When they
don't know what to do.
When they playing underneath the lights, oh man. It's like, what happened?
But see, the crazy thing is, with the Vikings, their biggest game, in my opinion, was that Buffalo game. Right. And they was this close from losing it.
Right.
It took, I mean, honestly, when they drove down the field in overtime, I was like, oh, yeah, that's game. Then they kicked the field goal. I was like, oh, y'all in trouble. But something came back to my mind. Josh Allen is not an overtime quarterback.
Yeah, he do too much.
He do too much. And then he's turning the ball over in the red zone now.
Can't do that.
Hey, I ain't mad at him. I honestly, everybody talk about the Bills. So they talk about the Bills, how they this team and that team. But I don't see that they good, but I don't see all the hype because honestly, I feel like the Ravens can beat them.
And check this out: the Bills right now, I think they last in the division. Last or third, one of them.
No, they third. They third.
So let me check. They the AFC East.
They third. Yeah, they third.
It's the Dolphins, Jets, Bills, and Patriots, and every one of those teams is shocking.
Yeah.
Who saw the Jets coming? But like I said on this show, I was like, look.
That draft had written on it.
Masterful, man. But see, the Dolphins are like in the top of that division by default because of their offense. I mean, Tyreek Hill already have over almost 1,200 yards now.
Yep.
And Jalen Waddle is not far behind him.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
So, I mean, come on. Jeez. I'm just looking at the stats. I'm like, bro, y'all ain't even fair. But do you think the Dolphins are going to make it to the championship, AFC championship though?
No.
No. Because that's all they pretty much got Like
I can't laugh at that.
I'm gonna tell you why they not go back. I'm with y'all.
Don't fall down there. Somewhere Tyreek gonna be down there.
I don't care where they at. I'm gonna tell you why they not gonna make it, because I think Baltimore is about to be on the uptick.
Yo,
I think Baltimore about to make some serious noise.
Yeah.
First of all, we're gonna win the division by 3 games. It's already it. I called it. We're gonna win the AFC North by 3 games. So that last game against Cincinnati ain't gonna matter. I feel like they better play the starters at least for the half. After that, do what you want to do. We came close to beating the Dolphins. Of course, they came back on us, and we was getting ready to blow the Bills out. So I'm not scared of neither one of them. We already beat the Jets, and we beat the Patriots. So the Dolphins and Bills, I ain't scared of them.
Right. And y'all coming off a bye too?
We coming off a bye, and honestly, we only had 1 game in 21 days. So we gonna be good.
Yeah.
And then the schedule, I think the remaining schedule don't nobody have a winning record except Cincinnati for the rest of the way. If we don't, somebody gotta go. Somebody got to go. Lamar is playing for his money right now.
The best thing I could have had there was get Jason Pierre. Oh man, I'm trying to tell you, that's a steal. He is not washed up.
He is not.
He's not. He probably not going to get double-digit sacks. But you know what? He plays the run so well. He has a nose for the football.
I don't know what's going on in Maryland, but we went and got Jason Pierre-Paul, which I called in the summertime, and then we went and traded for Roquan Smith, which I called in the summertime.
With Patrick Queen?
With Patrick, I don't like Patrick Queen like that. I ain't a Patrick Queen fan. I mean, he's playing better now, but I know I said a few weeks ago, I would rather have C.J. Mosley back than Patrick Queen. But that first game that Roquan played in, I think it was versus the Saints a couple of weeks ago. Hey, we in there.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for the playoffs, man. I'm ready to see what's going to go down. Because one, I want Lamar to win. That's the first and foremost. I want Lamar to win so they can be quiet.
Yeah, I feel like this is his year. This is his year. He won a contract extension. He want that guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
I got the defense. Never mind what y'all have on offense. Y'all always been like that. And
forever.
Yeah. So I feel like this is the year. Y'all doing it quietly. Y'all want to shock some teams. Y'all don't be like, where the hell they came from?
Mm-hmm. And that's how I like it. I like it when we are flying up under the radar. Because when everybody's throwing props at us, 2019, what happens? Tennessee. So, with everything, it remains to be seen. So I'm just excited about the second half of the season. But we're going to go ahead and shut it down right here. Right. So, thank y'all for this, for coming through, James. Appreciate you for coming through, man, as always. So, if y'all want to link with us, man, go ahead and go on Facebook and get on the Back Porch Sports Podcast War Room, where we chop it up just about every day. I know me personally, I'll find something stupid to put in there just to get a quick laugh for the day. Anything y'all got to add, bro?
I'm good.
All right, so we're going to go and fly up out of here. So this has been the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
Fun.
And James.
And we out.